Hi, my name's Jordan Nelson. Today we are speaking with Akonne Wanliss for talkSPORT's brand new MMA channel. How are you doing, Akonne?
I'm really good, man. Feeling fresh. Lack of Jaffa cake, so I'm shredded.
Brilliant. And you've got a big fight coming up on the April 20th. Before we jump into all that and the stuff going around the fight, for fans who aren't aware of you, you've got a pretty unique story in terms of MMA fighters. So I just want to kind of give you the floor and take us back to the start and tell us how did you get into MMA and how did you end up where we are right now?
Well, how I got into MMA was I was working as a personal trainer at the time, and I had like quite a lot of clients, and I'd have like some fighters that would come through, some fights and stuff like that. But even going back further than that, actually, before I even started kickboxing, I was going out on the piss as you do as a teenager. Just become 18, you're like, yeah, going out to the party, chasing tail. And then one day, I got a text from my old kickboxing instructor. So I used to do kickboxing when I was a kid. And the text said, when are you coming back to kickboxing, you pussy? And I was like, huh? I was with my mate at the time. He was Kieran Williams. He was a junior kickboxing world champion. And so he used to train every now and again and stuff. So he filled me with confidence. I was like, yo, what? Let's turn up to this sparring tomorrow, man, because you can't have my old coach talking like that. Da, 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 da. So we we both were just drunk, and we're like, yeah, tomorrow, 12 o'clock, we're gonna go sparring. So we wake up the next day, I'm hungover as hell. I turn up to the sparring session, and yeah, it didn't go down well. I got smashed everywhere because obviously I was like kind of it's been a while since I kickboxed, but something just clicked inside of me. Something inside me was like, yo, this is what I should be doing rather than what I was doing the night before. This is more purpose in life than you know drinking and dancing around in a square box room with loud music and drunk people. I was thinking like, it's like that's not what I wanted in life. So I just focused on kickboxing, and my original goal in life was to be a glory fighter. Kickboxing, I was watching like the likes of Andrew Tate, I'd see like the Israel Adesanyas, I'd see uh, um, what's his name, Alex Pereira and all that. I would see all of them in kickboxing world doing amazing, and that's where I wanted to go. And then I can't remember where I was. I think I was around my grandma's or something, and I seen UFC on TV, and the fight was just a crazy fight with Diego Sanchez. I think he was fighting. All Diego Sanchez fights are just nuts. But what really attracted me was just like it just looked really cool, and the crowd was really big. At kickboxing events, you get maybe about 100 people turn up to world title fights, and they had like thousands of people watching. So I was like, this is really popular. Plus, his striking was absolutely shit, and I was like, that's the top, and they're getting paid this much. You get paid £100 in kickboxing for a world champion, and then they get paid like at the time it was something like a couple hundred grand, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna switch sides quick. I'm a really good striker at this point, and I'm like, cool. Let's find the nearest MMA gym. I turn up to this MMA gym, and within 3 months I have my first fight, and I had a bloodbath with this guy I call him Kratos because he literally looks skinhead, massive, just looks so strong. So if you type in on YouTube Akonne Wanliss versus Michael Carron, you'll find my first bloodbath of coming from kickboxing into basically my first ever MMA fight. It was a wild one, but then I decided I wanted to chase MMA, and it was like a decision where I'm PTing like 40, 50 hours a week of just constantly in the gym, training people, then trying to train myself. And I was making a lot of money, and I had like good car and a house and all that sort of stuff. And I decided I want to go all in this MMA career. And at the time, one of my old friends who I used to break dance with, he told me to come in, randomly text me again. I get all these random texts for what, I don't know. He randomly texted me saying, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Do you want to come in and come to a ladies' night and help out? And I was like, what's that? Yeah, you earn 50 quid. I was like, okay, cool, sounds sweet. So I turn up. He said, bring a shirt and a bow tie. So I go to Primark. Primark just had opened, I think, maybe at that time, or was maybe just getting more popular. So everything was dirt cheap. Now you go to Primark now, it's probably not dirt cheap, but I went there, I got my shirt, and I got a premium shirt, because I thought, yo, let me just show it out in a premium shirt and the bow tie. Got my baby oil, turned up, he gives me a pair of scissors, we chop it all up, and then I'm wearing like literally just a bow tie around my neck and 2 cuffs and some black trousers. So I was pretty like naked. I was like, what is going on? I'm all babered all up, looking chiseled because I'm in good shape, as always. And then the door opens, and I kid you not, about 300 to 400 women bursting through these doors. I was like, what is going on here? This is crazy. It's crazy. And I just had so much attention that night. It was awesome. I had my first, my name, Galaxy, was my stripper name. But I just looked at the people on stage. Again, another thing where I was looking and I was like, oh, I could do that. Same with the UFC, the MMA stuff. So the guys were dancing, and I figured out they were earning 3 times as much as me. They're doing 3 times less work. I had to escort all these women. I had to be there an hour earlier. I had to stay after to do chairs and stuff. And I'm like, what? Nah, I'm going to be a stripper. So the rest was history from there. I started stripping, and that helped me decide, yo, I'm going to quit everything else and just focus on fighting and stripping. And that's what I did. I went balls to the wall. I was on the weekends just busting my ass, traveling up and down the country, working everywhere, crossing in overseas, doing like 3-4 strips a night on the weekend, and then on Sunday completely rest and then hit back training throughout the whole week. So I was training like a full-time athlete from almost the get-go. As soon as I was like able to fund it all, living on hardly anything, but you know, I had Jaffa cakes and baby oil to get me through. And yeah, I went on to win a good few accolades in MMA. So I was at an amateur career in MMA. I won a couple of titles, as you can see in the back, a couple of kickboxing ones, and then you know, I turned pro. Maybe about nearly just coming to my 6th year now, and I'm now 2-time world champion in MMA in 2 professional divisions, and now I'm looking to tackle the talkSPORT Game Changer. You know, I'm in a huge, massive tournament, and hey, that's a summary of where I am now.
It's a great story, and what was the point where you decided to go all in on MMA? Because obviously, I know you're training with Team Renegade, and Leon Edwards, you know, the best guy we've got, is in that gym. Fabian as well, who got a great win recently. Was it being around them guys and seeing what they're achieving and thinking, I've got to pour everything into this? Because stripping, or you know, it's funny to hear that, and my fighter did that, but it's also a very, you know, demanding physically job, I'd imagine. So what was the point where you thought, you know what, I've got to really just throw everything into MMA?
So I was when I was stripping for a long, maybe 10 years, up until just recently. I retired from it all, but the first point where I gave away everything else, like all the other work, is because I could literally do stripping on the weekends. So it'd be like maybe a random Thursday, but it'd be Friday, Saturday night, and so it'd be like 4 hours of my life, and then plus travel, you know. So it would be very short, and it wouldn't really take too much into me. But the first time I met Leon was I seen him fighting in Bama. He was the Bama champion. And I was living in Wolverhampton. I grew up in Wolverhampton. I was born in Jamaica. Grew up in Wolverhampton. And my gym was cool, but we had no world champions. We had no people that was even professional. And I was looking for something like that. And when I noticed Leon, he wasn't even in the UFC at the time. I knew he was going to be something big. And I had to go and find where was he training. And I found out it was in Birmingham. I turned up to UTC with my little bag. And I was like, yo, is Leon Edwards here? I want to train with him. And they literally welcomed me with open arms, battered the shit out of me. But I just kept coming, you know? I literally just kept coming, turning up. Leon got his UFC contract, and then he was in the UFC. We were like, oh, wow, that's amazing. And then, you know, you had Yannick Bahati was there, and all, like, you know, Fabian Edwards was there and stuff. And then we had, like, Aaron Chalmers coming in, and we had, like, so many fighters from that era, and now it's just culminated into something absolutely amazing down at Team Renegade, you know. But the time where I decided to quit stripping and, you could say focus on my recovery part, because that would take, it's still, if you're 100% of something, you still have to take it away. Typically was when I started to make money from MMA, when I could actually, cornflakes cost the same for everybody. And, in 6 years, I'd say it took me a good 5 years to start making some decent money to be able to live and survive on just MMA, So, yeah, that was the main motivator. If Leon could pay me, then yeah, I would have probably done it earlier.
Brilliant. And another interesting thing about you is that you have built this kind of unique fan base in the terms that you combine your MMA skills with your brilliant background, and then also you're a massive Star Wars fan as well. So it's just pretty a unique blend of people who I see supporting you. And just to top it off, the other day I seen that you had like a big billboard with "May the Force be with you" on. So when I seen that, I thought he must be absolutely buzzing with that one. What was that like?
This is not my best lightsaber, but I just had to pull it out. Jeez, man, listen, to be able to see "May the Force be with you" on a poster literally was a dream come true. And in Birmingham as well, I was like, wow, like everyone's going to see that. Like it's absolutely epic. And man, words can't describe how, when you put something, you put something down on paper, you want to achieve this, and then when you finally achieve it, it's actually spectacular. I'm at the top of the mountain now, and I'm looking higher, and there's so much more things to come, and it just shows me that I'm doing the right things. I'm in the right place. I made the right decisions, and it just gives me more motivation just to make them goals even bigger, and just keep grinding as hard as I am, and put these performances on in the cage where it counts.
Was it a conscious decision on your side to kind of incorporate your love of Star Wars into the MMA career? Because obviously people have hobbies, they keep them separate usually, but you've done these great walkouts. It's your nickname. Obviously we've seen the billboard as I just mentioned. Was it a conscious thing, or just you just wanting to put your personality and what you're into basically out there for everyone to see?
Definitely, what you see is what you get, and I've said that from the start of, like, even we probably touched on it a little bit with the Siraj situation. Is I'm just 100% real, and I feel like that's just me. However, we all have different forms of ourselves, and the stripping, the fighting, the geekiness of the Jedi and Star Wars stuff. It's just all the stuff that I like, and I'm like, oh cool. I like to put on a show. How would I like to put on a show? Put on a great walkout. And so I just like, what am I into? Star Wars. There we go. I call myself the Jedi, so I'm going to walk out as different Star Wars characters. So it's kind of like consciously, but unconsciously, it's just what I would do anyway. It's just me.
Yeah, basically someone's giving you a platform and you're just running with it. And
Yeah.
before we get on to the game changer and your next fight that's coming up, it's going to be a banger. I just want to leave you with one tough question: is that if you had to choose between becoming Octagon World Champion or getting a role in a Star Wars film, what would you go for?
Oh my God, that's
Honest
so
joke,
tough.
yeah.
That is tough. You know what? I'd be champion because that's everything that I've really been grinding for. That's my life's aspirations, and the Star Wars film will come, man. Like
Yeah.
it will come. I know that will just. They'll wait for me. They'll be like, yeah, you go win your title, and then we'll put you in the film. Come on, George. Lucas Stars, let's go.
Brilliant. And we'll move on now to your next fight, game changer. For anyone listening, watching at home who isn't familiar with the tournament, just talk us about the format and basically what's on the line, because I think it's like a €1 million prize pot that you're going to be fighting for at the end.
Yeah, you said it exactly as it is. So it's €1 million prize pot, and basically it's like the Champions League of MMA. Everybody understands what the Champions League is in football, and it's basically just the best teams, or the best fighters that you can get in Europe right now, all competing for €1 million prize pot. So the format goes. We've had the first round, except for a couple of the fights, and started off with 16 fighters. And it cuts down to 8, then it cuts down to 4, then it cuts down to 2, and you'll be one champion left at the end. You're looking at the guy, one champion left at the end, and it's going to be a great year. 4 fights within the space of 9 months, very active for all these athletes. And from the last game changer, there was so many great moments that led up to history making knockouts or even like moments within MMA itself. So it really garnered a lot of fans and a lot of attention, and this year is going to be no different.
And so the ultimate prize, I think the winner of the whole tournament gets about 300k, if I'm not wrong. You spoke there about money and how hard it has been to, just live as an MMA fighter. And I think a lot of people will understand that struggle. So if you've, been daydreaming about what is to come if you do win this tournament, the amount of money coming your way, have you thought about, what, I'd love to do this, I'd love to buy this, I'd love to get this? Have you thought about any of that yet?
I've been thinking about that since I stepped foot in MMA. Since I watched Diego Sanchez fight his heart out, and have all them fans watching. Obviously, I was seeing dollar signs at the same time, switching from kickboxing to MMA. And this is just one of the things where it's manifested itself into reality, where I've put myself in this position through my hard work, dedication, and my focus in my mind. So yeah, I have been thinking about exactly what I would do with this, how to reinvest that money, how I invest that, setting goals to be able to achieve that, and it all comes from unleashing the force in the cage. It all starts with my skills, going to the gym, staying dedicated, staying focused, and being the baddest mother inside that cage, and getting it done, and everything else will follow. So yeah, definitely have plans for what I'm going to do with that 300,000 after I'm champ. Jeez.
Just finally, before we move on to your actual opponents, is there anyone in the tournament that you think fans should look out for? This is the guy I'm probably going to have to beat in the final to get that 300k.
100%. I feel like Paradis, like he had a very close coming in his first fight, but I feel like now looking at the rest, he's got Daniel Torres next, but I still feel like he beats him and stuff, and then leading on to even in his other bracket, I can't remember who else is in there, but I do see him as the favourite on that side of the bracket getting to there, and I feel like it's going to be me and Paradis in the final, and that's going to be the guy I'm going to have to beat. So let's go. That's a very tasty final. We're both tall, long, rangy strikers. He's southpaw. I'm a switcher, and the ground is questionable to him, but he's improving very well on it. I feel like I'm more powerful, more faster, more tenacious, and I feel like it's a dream matchup. Let's go.
First up, Octagon 56, Sahil Sarij. He was meant to be your opponent earlier this month, in March, but that fight got called off pretty much the day before. For anyone who's not aware at home, tell us what happened and why that fight got cancelled at the last minute.
The fight got cancelled because his corner had no confidence in him and decided to literally gang up and rush me moments after, like a couple of hours after I weight cutted, and a day before I was about to step in the cage and fight Siraj. that's literally why it got rescheduled and cancelled. It got rescheduled because I decided, I was like, yo, I can't have this fight not happen, I still want to go out there and say what I'm about to do, what I'm going to say, I can't just, I was thinking, how do we work it? We were speaking between Octagon and it was all in the air, like, okay, what, do you just put me through to the next round, or is it like what's going to happen? So it was just really crazy, and then the opportunity presented ourselves where it was like, okay, you can go to Birmingham and we'll put you as the main card, the main fight. Obviously Aaron Abe's now fighting for a title, so now I'm co-main, but still that was the idea, and I took that with both arms. I was like, yeah, cool, sweet, let's go to Birmingham so I can knock out Siraj Shiraz and bounce a Jaffa cake off his coach's head. All sweet. You know what I mean? So Octagon looked after me and, made sure everything was all good and sort of them side of things financially and stuff, and then just made sure I'm ready and prepared for 6 weeks' time after that event, which is 20th of April. I get to unleash the force in Siraj, and he will be KO'd in round 1.
The footage that come out online, it is bizarre, and just on its own, it just looks like you've come at you straight away. Was there any beef beforehand? Was it just you with your predictions that kind of peed them off a bit? What was going on beforehand for them to get that riled up and just bum rush you like that?
I think it's absolutely. It baffled me as well. I was like, what? Does Jaffa cake mean something different in Sweden So I kept trying to think. I was like, what? There's definitely mean something different in Sweden, but I know the event at the airport pissed a lot of people off because all I did is, like I said, 100% me. On fight week, I'm not going to be friends with you. If me and you are fighting, I ain't your friend. Hell no. You're trying to take what I want, and I'm trying to take what you want. So I'm going to go shake hands and go, yes, mate, let's have a good fight. No, all that stuff can come after. I'm serious about this. This is war for me, and if you want to take it lightly, that's on you. But when I punch you in the face, when I kick you in the face, or when the fight starts and you realise it's real, it's a bit too late by then. So I stay in that focus mode, and that didn't go too well with Mad Dog. He got really angry. He tried to fight me inside the airport, and then after that, that's when I added that. After I knock out Siraj, which is my job, yeah. I'm gonna smoke you and bounce a Jaffa cake off your head. Like, wow, I didn't say anything about your family or anything that really crossed the line. Just normal talk, If anything, it's probably comedic. A Jaffa cake,
Absolutely, and then obviously it's annoying at the time. The fight gets cancelled. A bit of work you've put in has gone to waste, but it's very lucky that we've got a quick turnaround date, and it's added to what was already an exciting fight, a bit more heat, a bit more spice for the fans as well. From Octagon's point of view, you sound like you have a great relationship and they're looking after you. Have they give you reassurances that something like this won't happen again? Because there's nothing worse than we get there again and tempers get flared and something silly means you don't get to fight again.
Yeah. Octagon were very disappointed with the whole situation, and they completely supported me in everything. Like, in terms of, they knew it was very wrong from Siraj's team, and he had to be punished in some way, or and what they've done is they've banned their coaches. So they've taken out the people that attacked me, and they're not allowing them into the event. Me personally, obviously, I'm saying, like, let him to the event. I want to see his boy get smoked, but obviously Octagon are going to be a bit more, they're going to look after their own back as well and sort of thing, and they don't want it to happen. They don't want the fighters to be fighting before the fight. Like, it makes no sense. Like I said all the time, it makes no sense other than you're unconfident with your boy that you want to go and gang up and attack the person that he's possibly fighting. I just can't fathom it. I'm like, how? Like, imagine if I was cornering Leon, let's say, and he's about to fight, he was about to fight Usman, and I'm like, nah, I don't like that Usman. Let me beat him up before the fight. I don't get it. I just don't get it. It's a bit just crazy. But here we are.
Here we are, and the big fight is coming, so can't wait for that one. And just before I do that, I've got to go over, you've got big plans already. You spoke about Game Changer, you've got a few opponents in front of you, but what are the ultimate goals? You're a guy in your 30s now, sorry to put age on you, but there is a time limit in this sport, unlike, as we were speaking earlier, that Star Wars film can come whenever, but there is an age limit for MMA usually, and you've probably got 5-10 years left in the sport if you're lucky. What do you have planned for that? What are the goals? What do you want to achieve?
Very simply, I want to be the best, the pound for pound greatest. I want to see my name in that list, and I want to see a number one next to it. So that's the ultimate goal. I want you to, after everything's all said and done, you're going to be like, damn, yeah, Akonne Wanliss, the Jedi, was one of the greatest Jedis to ever do it. And that's always been my biggest goal in MMA.
Brilliant to hear. And just finally, after MMA is done, what do you have planned? I know a lot of fighters, they struggle to find a path, but I just don't think that's going to be something you'll struggle with, because you're already proved you're a multi-talented guy and you seem to have a lot of passion. So have you given any thought into, once this is over, I'm going to pursue this career, or I'm going to do this?
I haven't thought about what I'm going to do after, but like you said, I'm multi-talented. There's a lot of things that I can do, and that I probably will be able to do it after a fight. I'm big into motorsports. I like to talk, so who knows? Commentary could be on the job. Podcasting, I really don't know. The sky is the limit. I'm really focused on MMA at the moment, but I do know I'll be eating a lot more Jaffa cakes than I usually do now. That's one thing for sure.
I'd just say lots still to happen until then. First up, Octagon 56, April 20th. Can't wait to watch, and I want to wish you good luck and with everything you've got going on. Thanks for having some time with talkSPORT MMA today, and hopefully we'll speak again soon, mate.
It's a pleasure, mate. May the force be with you.
Thank you. If you could just hang on for 1 sec.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.